Hey, Curtis and Melissa.
Hey, Oz.
Hey.
Do you guys have a movie marriage this week?
We do have a movie marriage this week.
Aw.
This week, kicking off new month,
Mm-hmm.
that non-Marvel DC comic book movie month.
It's a mouthful.
It just flows. Just a nice,
right.
nice, smooth flow.
There's got to be an acronym for
it. We're going with A League of Their Own meets a little bit of Evil Dead 2, blended with a Bjork music video, all tied up with Kangaroo Jack. This week, we're talking about Tank Girl.
Yeah, perfect. You could have just summed all that up and said, like, a No Doubt music video. Yeah. Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another week of Let's Talk About Flicks, the weekly podcast where we take a monthly theme. New theme this month, like you said, it's not MCU DC movie.
Yeah, no Snyder cut here.
No way. We may have Snyder cuts of our podcast.
Yes, we'll include the Snyder cut version of this episode.
Yeah, Zack Snyder does do all of our YouTube editing.
4.5 hours.
Well, he does it for some of that rich Patreon kickback. I'm one of your hosts, Oz.
I'm the other host, Curtis. And we have...
I was going to say,
and we have special guest with us today. Again, we are past Patreon subscriber month. For those keeping score, that ended last month. However, Patreon subscriber Melissa L. is going to join us for this one just because, quite simply, she loves this movie. And who better to bring a passionate voice about Tank Girl than Patreon subscriber Melissa L.
That's fine. Gary B. in My Outside Insight also has a love for Tank Girl.
Well, we'll let Gary B. and Melissa L. duke it out.
We'll get to him later. Yeah, we do want to give a shout out to those Patreon subscribers: Don S., Aaron A., Mandy K., Melissa L. Thank you for your patronage, and thank you for last month's contribution.
Yes. Yeah, that was a really fun month last month.
It really was. So I'm going to take the lead on, oh my gosh, I'm scrolling through and I realize Tank Girl on...
Yeah, Wikipedia does not list all the characters.
I know! I'm like,
pivoting.
IMDb.
Database, rescue me.
Oh, there we go. Letterboxd wouldn't load for me. I had to go Rotten Tomatoes for mine. Oh. Yeah, I kept getting timed out. All right, so I've got the cast this month, and we're going to start with Tom's daughter, Lori Petty.
Yep.
She's the love child of Tom and Richard.
Yep, running down a dream.
That's where she learned how to drive.
That's right.
From her dad, Richard.
You turn left, you drive up, you turn left again.
It's a long way around that desert.
Just a big loop.
It's the Sahara 500.
Just a walk in circles. It called me loopy.
But yeah, Lori Petty plays Rebecca / Tank Girl. She's joined by the sister of JJ and TJ, Naomi Watts.
Reggie Watts, I think, is also a sibling in there.
Yeah,
too.
Reggie was in there playing Jet Girl. We've got Ice-T as T Saint. You could just say Ice-T Saint if you want. Reggie Cathy in a very recognizable Reggie Cathy role as DT. Malcolm McDowell is the big bad. Kesley. You've got Iggy Pop. You've got James Hong. You've got Doug Jones. You got Jeff Kober.
I completely forgot James Hong had a little cameo in this movie.
Yeah.
Every movie is better that has a James Hong moment.
Absolutely. But really, the cast of this boils down to Lori Petty, Naomi Watts, Malcolm McDowell, and then a bunch of kangaroos.
Basically.
So that's it. Yeah. Directed by Rachel Cobra la 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 la.
Cobra la 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 la.
Which, I guess with a touch of irony, directed... she directed Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, the movie that was supposed to be the nail in the coffin for the Nightmare on Elm Street. But we, of course, talked about its successor last week. So, that is your cast of Tank Girl. It's basically just Lori Petty being Lori Petty.
Yes. So
what do you got?
As,
what do you
as
got for
far
plot?
as the plot and story goes, before we get rolling here, I'm gonna just lob a quick question at Patreon subscriber Melissa L here. A pre-show, we were going back and forth at what questions you did and didn't want me to ask. So I'm just going to ask the one that we settled on.
I'm going to ask you if you still don't want me to ask these questions.
What do you like about Tank Girl?
It's fun. It doesn't take itself seriously. It's got a super cool female heroine.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. Girl power.
So it's really just Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yeah. Cool music, strong female leads. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like, I'm starting to see a theme here. Yep. So Beaches is also a favorite of yours.
Yes. Also features a lot of Bjork. Beaches.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's get to the plot of 1995's Tank Girl. We open on comic book panels from the Tank Girl comic, which I have never read. You did buy a graphic or trade paperback, I should say.
I bought the paperback, and then it kind of confused me because there was like no beginning that I recognized.
Oh, okay.
So lots of boobs.
Yes.
And then I couldn't give it to my daughter to read, although she wanted to. So it's hidden under a bed.
No, sure. Only your household would have smutty comics hidden.
Yep. Some people hide pornography. Some people, the Victoria's Secrets catalog. Nope, it's trade paperbacks.
Smutty British comics.
Yep, exactly. So these comic book panels are on screen as we hear Devo's cover of Devo's "Girl You Want."
I noticed that. I didn't pick up that it was Devo, but I'm like, I like this. I've always liked that "Girl You Want." I didn't realize Devo was covering their own work.
I forget who it was. They originally wanted a cover that somebody else did of that song, and off the top of my head, I forget who it was. But it was too expensive, and so
it was probably Letters to Cleo.
It was Letters to Cleo or Primus, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went back to Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo and said, "Can you just you just want to record this in this other way?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure."
It's Mark Mothersbaugh. Like he'll throw it. I think the dude just loves making music.
Yeah. Loves being creative, with all of the soundtrack work he does and scoring that he does these days. Yeah. So
he did art on Yo Gabba Gabba. Like that's just what he did. He drew art. It was decent.
Sure. Rebecca narrates it's 2033. A comet crashed into the Earth. So here's our backstory here. Here's our exposition. A comet crashed into Earth. Hasn't rained in 11 years, unlike Kankakee, Illinois, which is
no, it's the Seattle of the
Midwest, as some say. She narrates. We learn a little bit about the Rippers, about the Water and Power Organization, which is now like basically the governing body of the world.
Yeah, right.
Is this organization called
Australia at least?
It does. Is it Australia?
I believe they're in.
Yeah, it's Australia.
Okay, it's
a British comic about Australia.
That's right. Well, it's some Commonwealth. And she's riding a water buffalo while this is all happening as well. We meet her boyfriend Sam and others in their big compound. They've got a really cool hydroponic system to grow vegetables and grow food, and they've got this whole thing worked out. We cut to Water and Power, where we meet Kesley, Malcolm McDowell himself, drinking a glass of water from a wine glass. So we know immediately he's the bad guy.
Yep. Yeah.
He kills a subordinate for letting the Rippers secure a small piece of desert. Again, the Rippers are these sort of like kind of like renegades. They're out to kind of they live their lives the way that they want to live, and they're giving Water and Power a hard time. They're like the rebel alliance.
It's a good one. I like that.
Let's see. He kills a captain. He uses a mechanism that drains water from a human body. So it's like it's like a big I don't even know how you describe it, like a there's like a water, like an empty bulb at the end of it, and it has has like prongs, and you like jab it in somebody.
It's like, it felt almost like several syringe type. It's odd.
Yeah. So like you jab this thing into someone, and then it like sucks all their fluids out, and it automatically converts it to water. So if Jesus can do it, why can't Malcolm McDowell? I think that device was the cup of Christ at one point. Yeah. Could have used Last Crusade as
exactly. It's a prequel.
Indiana Jones and the Rippers.
That's right.
Let's see. We cut back to Rebecca. She's now on guard duty at the compound there. She isn't paying attention, because that's what she doesn't do is pay attention. And water and power goons invade. They've been, illegally using water. Of course, they kill the water buffalo as well. You're not supposed to have these. Yeah. Big as this like mayhem is happening behind her. Big band music starts playing as she seduces one of the water and power goons and then takes him out with his own grenades. All of her friends are slaughtered, including her sexy boyfriend in his like fishnet tank top.
Yeah, exactly. It's sexy.
Yeah, he was a sexy man. And the goons take her with. This one could be fun. On the transport ship back to the water and power headquarters, she ends up breaking the neck of a guy who's trying to take advantage of her. So we know she's quite capable.
They also took her sister.
The Newt character?
Yeah, I was thinking of that too. And I'm surprised she didn't use a flying head scissors to break this guy's neck. Seems to be the MO for neck breaking.
Yep. Yeah, the old Natasha Romanoff head scissors.
Yeah.
What's the name of the little girl? I'm blanking off the top of my head.
You mostly know.
I know. Sam. That's right. That's right. I keep thinking Newt, but because it was basically Newt from Aliens.
Yeah. Yes, you were mostly right.
Sam. So back at Water and Power, Kesley and Small, who's like the lead subordinate, they offer Rebecca a job. Like you could be a soldier for us at Water and Power. I mean, you did take out 8 guys,
Right. Yeah.
And she refuses, and as punishment, they enslave her. Dig it in this big well. We also meet Jet, who Small both berates and lusts after, as Jet is fixing an aircraft, and he pulls the classic male power move, like, you're lucky I let you work here. You could be slumming it or worse if it wasn't for me. Small later goes after her again, but Rebecca, who has just had a sexy delousement shower, kisses Jet and says, "This is my girlfriend," just to get Small out of there.
Yeah, get him out of the way.
The theme from Shaft plays as Rebecca sneaks around and finds Tank. Jet saves her from being gassed when Rebecca doesn't enter the security code correctly in the tank. Like the lid closes, she goes to punch it. Yeah, it's like
cyanide pumping in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, but Jet ends up saving her. All the while, Kesley and Small were kind of letting this happen. Like they've been watching this on a security feed. We get Kesley, a great Malcolm McDowelling. My, she'll be fun to break.
Yeah, she seems to be a lot of fun. Everybody has her around for the enjoyment factor.
For the yucks.
Yeah, yet like everyone keeps dying in her presence.
So they capture her again. They chain her up. They're freezing her. They're torturing her. She keeps turning down this job they're offering her. They throw her in the pipe, which is basically like a big tube slide at like a 45-degree angle that they slide her down head first to torture people. Yeah. The next day, Small and Kesley investigate another Ripper attack on an outpost. So the Rippers are, they're trying to reclaim their land, their territory. Again, be the rebel scum that they could be. The guards there didn't even get a shot off, and they took out like a dozen of these guards there. The Water and Power, they end up taking Rebecca to the site to kind of like use her as bait almost, and like, the place is booby trapped. There's like
Right.
sinkholes and stuff. So they send her out there. They shoot her with a tracker and they make her walk out there. Right as she does, though, the Rippers attack and they kill dozens of men. Small is there. Kesley's there. Kesley's arm. Rebecca later finds his severed arm.
Yeah.
Je-
So that's the end of him.
yeah, that's it. They find the severed arm. I'm sure that's the end of Malcolm McDowell. All right.
He's gone.
In the meantime, Jet has hijacked a jet as well. So.
Yeah.
Back in Water and Power, we see a doctor tending to Kesley. So he did make it, Oz. The doctor says, this isn't good. Then James Hong walks in and says, I can fix you. Small then stabs the doctor in the back with the, as I put it, the water extractor thingy. That's my official notes. And that,
Which is fitting because the acronym is WET.
yeah, that's just like I planned it. The water extractor
Good
thingy.
Melissa, would you like to comment on how you reacted to that comment? You didn't see it. As she closes her eyes and starts shaking her head, and instantly, like, why did I decide to come on this week's show?
You don't like my water extractor thingy?
I just realized that it does.
The acronyms.
So you were shaking your head in disgust, but also like begrudgingly acknowledging that, like, yeah, that's kind of it.
That's a very appropriate acronym.
Yeah, it's the water extraction thingy.
Which you probably didn't realize until you just said
Of
it.
course I realized it.
Yeah. He actually started with that and then reverse engineered it.
Okay, well, it's got to make the acronym WET.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just like I planned. We then see James Hong cut off Kesley's head using a gigantic pair of scissors.
Yeah.
So like
I don't see a problem.
So like you said, that's the end of Kesley.
That's it.
That's the end of him. He's done, folks. We meet Subgirl, played by one of the Cusack family members.
I saw that.
Who apparently Subgirl is a much bigger character in the comics, and a lot of comic purists were upset that the character only had a cameo here.
Fair enough.
So basically, and it was a very, I think, kind of an awkward transition. Like, here's this character, and then she's gone. So she lets Rebecca use her garage to fix up Tank. We get a sweet montage of them fixing Tank, Jet creating a remote controlled jet. There's like animation intercuts here as well, so very fun, very frantic.
Yeah.
We get the first Bjork song. We get Army of Me playing as they look for Sam at a strip club. They got a tip that there is a strip club that it also might employ children there due to what the population is wanting. Again, we're post-apocalypse here.
Yes.
She asks the madam, or a man comes in and asks the madam for a small girl, and of course she allows it. Schoolgirl, that's right. She allows it because, again, this is the post-apocalypse and anything goes.
Yeah.
There's a big, Rebecca sneaks in, but Sam had already saved herself from a guy named Ratface.
Played by Iggy Pop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What
do you think? What is Iggy short for?
Iguana.
Ignatius Pop.
Ignatius.
I think you're right. Iguana.
I think it's iguana.
Which is also a delicacy in certain parts of the world.
And also one of my favorite Primus albums.
Iguana Pop. It's actually my favorite subgenre of pop music. There's K-pop, Iguana
Pop, J-pop, yeah.
It's got a kind of a jungle beat to it. I like it. Well, steel drum.
I think it's a flavor made by RC Cola.
It is. Ice cream guy has them.
It's their version of Mountain Dew. Iguana Pop.
So you want a Mountain Holler, Iguana Pop,
Mountain Holler, Plateau Dew.
You want a Dr. Thunder? Those are real drink flavors.
I know Dr. Thunder is.
Yeah, Mountain Holler.
Mountain Holler's a real thing.
Yes, it's a real thing.
Hey! Hey!
You know what? That sounds like a fine drink.
I was up on the Mountain Hollering the other day. Idea.
Call them folks from Shasta. Let's get this going.
ICP's gonna love this. First they had Fago, now they got Mountain Holler.
Right. The Jones Cola folks won't touch it. Yeah, Mountain Holler's a real drink.
I'm assuming it's a Mountain Dew equivalent.
Yes.
It's 1% milk.
Mountain Holler. Yep.
Are you looking it up right now? No, of course you are.
You can get it at Save-A-Lot.
In the meantime, after Ratface leaves, there's a big song and dance number that Rebecca, of course, is involved in, which allows the Water and Power troops to get the drop on them and re-kidnap Sam. So, like, Sam freed herself, then Rebecca shows up and Sam gets captured again because Rebecca was taking her sweet time.
Yeah.
I will say, somehow, for some reason, the troops don't stop for Rebecca or Jet while they're there. But again, there's not a lot of whys to this movie.
No.
As fun as it is, there's not a lot of whys to this. Later, the Rippers capture them. The Rippers capture Jet and Rebecca. They're pumped full of nitrous oxide as the Rippers shake them down for info to see if Rebecca and Jet are spies. Booger, who is the dumb one, explains that the army messed with kangaroo DNA to make soldiers, and that's how the Rippers came to be. To test Rebecca and Jet's allegiance, they are sent to investigate a local water and power shipment. We get another great Bjork song, Big Time Sensuality, plays as Rebecca pretends to be a fashionista here in the post-apocalyptic outback. Walks up to workers. We're doing a Men of Water and Power calendar. Which I don't. It's a goofy sequence, but I still found it really entertaining. As Melissa L is showing me the Mountain Holler can right now.
Yeah.
Let's see, radical citrus thirst blaster.
And if you get tired of all the subset flavors of Mountain Dew and the Baja Blast or whatever, Mountain Holler has one flavor, one taste for one taste bud. Mountain Holler.
So we get the fashionista scene where they're tricking the workers. Another great song, Disconnected by Face to Face, plays as Rebecca in the tank and Jet in her jet attack a convoy. Rebecca is cooking hot dogs on a grill at the tank during the assault, and then she rides the tank cannon like a surfboard. She points the tank cannon into the truck's cab and then plays with the guys and says feeling a little inadequate. She disconnects their trailer from the rig before it goes off a cliff. So they pass the test. They are now Rippers they're
now trusted by the Rippers.
Yes. Yeah, for getting the job done and getting them extra gear too in the process. Back at the Ripper base, they celebrate. They're going to destroy the guns because they don't actually use them. There's a beatnik Ripper, DT, who plays his beatnik saxophone.
Yeah.
And spouts Jack Kerouac quotes. Again, when I think post-Australian outback, I think American beatniks.
Yep.
While celebrating I don't remember which one this is. I just say the horny Ripper starts dry humping Jet while dancing, and you could tell Naomi Watts was not enjoying this.
No,
judging by the take they included.
No, I think it was probably not the first take. Do we have to do this again?
I was reading in the trivia that she has basically disowned this movie, Naomi Watts.
Her career has gone elsewhere.
Yes. This was a couple years before like her big breakthrough in Mulholland Drive.
Yeah. I will admit that her sexual partner in that film was a little bit more attractive than her sexual partner in this one. Like, she stepped up from a kangaroo to
from a kangaroo man. I put in my notes that you could see Naomi Watts' dignity shriveling on screen during.
Meanwhile, Lori Petty's taking his tail and pulling it between her legs.
It's heavily implied that Booga, who I think is the horny one, and Rebecca have sex after she wears a big extended bra bomb, like
Yeah.
big rockets coming out of her boobies.
Yeah.
Later, they open up stolen loot, and they find the body of their creator, John Prophet, because they were talking about John Prophet, this guy who made us, this guy who was good to us, and then there's his body in this random shipment in the middle of the desert.
Right.
They draw up plans to assault the water and power base. Jet flies the Rippers in while Rebecca paraglides behind Tank, taking out several guys while an Ice-T song plays, because, hey, when in Rome.
Yeah. At least they had the dignity not to drop like an Anaconda Ice Cube.
Yeah. Today's a good day.
Today's a good day.
Let's see. In the meantime, Kessley has Sam slid down the pipe and turns on a trickle of water to slowly drown her. Rebecca meets up with Jet and the Rippers. DT takes out a power source to kill some lights, but he is shot and killed. So DT, the big beatnik, sacrifices himself so that they can get Sam and keep the others alive. The Rippers aren't a fan of that, Melissa L., are they?
No.
Yeah, they
No.
they howl a lot. Especially they howl directly into the camera that's hovering right above DT's corpse.
Yep.
Kessley and Rebecca have a big face-off. So he's basically like a cyborg now at this point. He has a hologram head. He's got like a fake arm. That has like little like buzz saws on it. So
KitchenAid.
Yeah, basically, he's got a shark blender on his arm. made him a protein shake. Kessley reveals that he had Rebecca covered in microphones. She's basically been a plant for him the entire time, getting all this info about the Rippers. They knew they were coming. I've been listening to everything.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, especially not after they put the tracker on her earlier.
Yeah, and as many times as she's changed her clothes since the beginning to end. Like, where are these microphones located?
And the gigantic rocket bra.
That must have been it.
After trapping his arm in a vice, he's revealed to be a cyborg. They end up fighting more. She traps his arm in like an electrical field. She then hops in Tank and fires beer cans at him, which then knocks like a bucket of water onto him.
Right.
And then she ends the fight scene by, of course, using the water extraction thingy and shoves it into him.
Yeah.
Small tries to escape a very hot-looking Jet, shoots him in the head. Rebecca pulls Sam out of the tube, reunites with Booga, and then we get another animated sequence right into the credits. So this movie just cooks, Oz.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie is all pace, all energy, very little in plot and story.
Yeah, super thin thread holding it all together. It all does hold together. Like, there is an overarching plot to this.
But a very fun ride.
Yeah, there's so many bonkers-esque things going on along the way that it's easy to get sidetracked of what the story actually is, because there is just so much, like you said, energy and design going on. So
another movie too is the in trivia and things like that indicated that the studio really kind of chopped up as well and got in the way of some processes. I guess one of the reasons why they had so many animated sequences is because the studio just basically stopped filming. And so they had to fill in these gaps with these animated sequences.
Well, I thought it added to it.
Yeah, in the end it did, but I can't imagine how frustrating it would have been.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I could definitely see that being a frustrating point.
Melissa L., anything else you want to add about this movie before we go on with our bits?
No.
All right. Well, hey, let's move ahead with the rating at this point in the show, folks. Oz and I, and Melissa L., if you so desire, will each give our own unique rating about the film in question, 1995's Tank Girl. Oz, how would you rate this flick?
I'm going to give this a 6er of Dasani.
6er of Dasani?
Yep.
That's the bad water.
It is the bad
I don't know
water.
what it is. Dasani tastes weird.
It's not natural.
It does.
Yeah, it's pulled from the water extractor.
Exactly. It's been extracted.
That's all the iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been extracted. Yeah, I agree. Dasani doesn't taste very good, but I'm not really a fan of mini Coke products, so there you go. I'm more of a Mountain Holler guy myself. So I don't. What do you got? What's your rating for it?
I'm gonna go with 82 cans of Mountain Holler. Speaking of, why not?
Yeah, go for it.
Again, it's not a. It's one of those classic. Like, it's not a good movie, but it's a fun, memorable movie. And I let myself get soaked up by just the energy that this movie has. Like I find myself not caring about the plot holes and not caring about some of the acting, and just have a good time with it.
That's what I was going to touch on. I think you have to, because like you said, this movie, it definitely has its weak spots, but when it shines bright. Yeah. And as long as you keep looking in that direction of the good things and positive things that they're doing well, it definitely, you could bypass it. Be like, I'm watching a movie about this quippy woman with kangaroo friends fighting down a cyborg water holder. Like, you can't, like, what do you gotta lower your expectations a little bit. Yeah. Like,
just have a good time with it, folks.
Right.
All right, next up, Outside Insights. Oz and I have been scouring the interwebs searching for unprofessional reviews that tickle our funny bones, and we hope they tickle yours as well. Oz, what is your Outside Insight?
I have a 5-star review from Gary B. I can only assume it's Gary Busey. Left August 20th of last year. He says, I like Tank Girl. Just watched it on free MGM Plus weekend. Reminds me of Harley Quinn, kinda. I guess I'm a sucker for cute girls who kick some butt. Set in similar situation as Road Warriors, but more quirky. Cool soundtrack, too. Like, thanks, Gary Busey. But I guess I'm a sucker for cute girls who kick. Like, I don't know how old you are, Gary, but you don't know your type yet? Like, I guess I'm a sucker for cute girls who kick butt.
So, and some Cole Porter music.
Yeah, it's true. Cool soundtrack too. So that's Gary's 5-star review. Thank you, Gary. What do you got?
Mine, as always, comes from the Internet Movie Database. It's a 1 out of 10, left by Claire Ferry in June of 2006. I'm guessing yours was Gary Busey. Mine is Claire Danes.
Or Claire, yeah, it is. It is Claire Danes, yeah, because that's not. That's not. Yeah, I was going to say that's not her username. I was going to go with her, but no, it's Claire Danes.
It's Claire Danes and/or Forlani.
It's a side project I do. I try to find celebrities that use a pen name when they leave reviews for movies on IMDb.
Yeah, some people have burner Twitter accounts. Others have burner IMDb.
They do
user feedback accounts.
It's a rabbit hole you do not want to go down.
That's Gary Busey.
Yeah.
This one is clearly like a fanboy of, or fangirl of the comic. My poor Tank Girl. They ignored everything great about you. Why does it have to have as little to do with the comics as possible? I would have loved a movie that followed the plot, or at least had the characters right. Why was Tank Girl American? She's Australian, darn it. And she's not living in a post-apocalypse war zone anyway, either. She's living in the outback with Booga like a savage. 1 out of 10.
Thanks, comic book guy.
I know, right?
Actually.
So yeah, just another nerd on a pedestal.
Yeah, that's all
He's
right.
probably angry that this movie's too woke too, or something stupid like that.
Probably now he is.
Yeah. All right, folks, it's that point in the show you've all been waiting for, our signature segment, the 3-2-1, in which Oz and I each will share 3 goods, 2 bads, and 1 about the film in question, 1995's Tank Girl. Hey, Oz, what are your 3 goods?
My first one is Naomi Watts with black hair. Yeah. She reminded me a little bit of the Baroness, which was also a big favorite of mine on G.I. Joe.
Yes, please to that.
Yes. My second good is I really enjoyed the cutscenes with the comic book art. We talked about it a lot in what we covered, Kill Bill. I like that aesthetic. You can use it as a storytelling device. You can definitely use it as a budget saver. But I just like that. I think it's cool. and we're gonna see some more of it this month.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just thought the set design was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I always enjoy these kind of wild movies like this, looking around at the set, because somebody's job is just to go nuts. And it's fun to look around and be like, okay, what kind of really oddball, quirky stuff do they have laying around? And this movie did not disappoint.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 goods. What do you got?
I just want to echo. Yeah, 15-year-old Curtis liked dark-haired Naomi Watts as well.
Yeah. When she first come on, I was like, oh, that's Naomi Watts. Hey, Naomi.
I'll be your King Kong.
That's right.
That's the appropriate response, by the way, Melissa.
Okay.
Let's see. My 3 goods. First of all, the movie is just all attitude and style. And again, as Melissa also pointed out before, I love how this movie just doesn't take itself seriously.
No,
it's
not at all.
Goofy. It leans into the goofiness, the playfulness of it, and it's just a fun time. So that's my first good. The second good was the Rippers. They actually brought in the one place that they splurged on their budget was to have Stan Winston create the characters.
Right.
So they look good. They had like little servo remote controlled ears and stuff. And
he did do a great job. Obviously not his strongest work.
Yeah.
But still, I'm glad they
given
put
the movie it
there.
was in. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then my last one, soundtrack. Oh, you can't not talk about the soundtrack of this movie.
I left it off for your benefit.
Yeah. Face to Face, Whole.
Cole
Porter. Bjork. There's some real bangers in this movie.
There really are.
Yeah.
Bush.
Yeah, that's right. Bush. Early Bush is in this song too. So, hey Oz, what are your 2 bads?
My first one, and this is not the movie's fault. I'm not a Lori Petty fan. Her voice drags on me. I've probably because I've seen A League of Their Own too many times, but I can't put my finger exactly on what it is. I even said to my wife, she's like, "Well, who's in that?" I said, Lori Petty, and I'm like, I just don't care much for Lori Petty. So that was a distraction for me a little bit. I thought she did a great job.
Sounds like a real petty excuse for not liking
it. Who's not hollering now?
That's right. That's right. But I'm just not a Lori Petty fan. And so I did enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the aesthetic of the movie, but it's like Lori Petty's leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, for me, that's just a strike. My second is there's a lot of death in this movie, especially early on when, WP kind of raids their camp and whatever, but nobody ever mourns anyone. And I know this movie doesn't take itself too seriously, but Tank Girl just watched her entire encampment just get mowed down, watches point blank her water buffalo get shot in the head. And there's just
watches her boyfriend get riddled with bullets.
Exactly.
Does the classic chicken dance?
Yeah, he does. But it's just quippy. Everything after it was just one-liner joke here. Even in that same scene, it was, and so it was like, I don't know, it just made the characters feel that less dimensional. Sure. When I'm like, okay, you're not. Never really see her angry. I see a lot of the same kind of Arrested Development we saw in the way back with why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Like Rob Corddry's character?
No, with he ran the water park.
Oh, Rockwell?
Yeah, thank you. Sam Rockwell's character. There's that kind of same everything's funny to me, everything's a joke. But even and that's how I felt with Lori Petty, only, of course, there was no extra layer there. It just was...
Sure. Yeah, there was no stakes.
Yeah, it just was okay. You could have had a whole lot of stakes out of that water buffalo.
Yeah.
But you just didn't. So those are my 2 bads. What do you got?
Oh, my first bad... normally, I'm a big fan of miniatures, Oz, but this movie has some really bad miniatures.
Yeah, they do.
The water and power, the plane would fly in and out, and it just, it didn't work. Again, they didn't have too much of a budget on this.
No.
That's
like 25 million though.
Like somehow they messed up miniatures.
Yeah.
So that's my first bad. And my second bad was for a movie that is as excessive in the best ways as this movie is, even the musical number I thought was even just a little much. You're looking at me like you disagree. But yeah, I thought, like, again, it was fun, but even then I thought it just went almost just a half step too far. And
just because you don't like tassels, you're going to give this movie a bad review.
Because I don't like tassels.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were too covered. But no, I get you. Like
my father died in a tasseling gone wrong. You know my experience with tassels.
Right. It's the only man I know that's ever choked on tassels. But no, I get you. Like that musical number for me felt a lot like the opening number of Temple of Doom.
Sure. I could see that.
Of like, okay, I get it. Oh, you're still going.
And
okay.
It's 10 minutes later and it's still going.
Yeah, it's like, all right. Well, I'm going to go get something to eat. Yeah. You keep. So that's our second indie reference to this film.
Yep.
The worst one.
We'll fit Raiders in at some point.
Yeah, it's true. We'll get it.
All right. Well, hey, those are my two bads. What's your huh?
Where do Tank and Jet get all of their clothing?
That store.
Like there's a lot of costume changes in this movie, and they always have the costume they need for the scene they're going to be in. And it's just like, you guys are just in the desert in a tank. Like, where are all of your outfits coming from?
The tank?
That's true, with the tank. So that was my first huh. My original huh was, what did Gwen Stefani look like from 86 to 88 when No Doubt premiered, but before the Tank Girl comic hit in 88? Like, what was Gwen Stefani's style prior to that? So that was my original huh. But I'm going to go with the where are they getting all their clothes?
Fair enough point.
What do you got?
For my huh, I'm going to share a quick backup huh. My backup huh, and this is more of just a comment. Right after as Rebecca was showering in the powder, they made a sexy time. She's showering in delousing powder. I think we were watching that point together, and I turned to you and just go, "The lice hate the sugar."
I believe this is also the Super Troopers universe.
It is, yeah. It's in the same universe. This movie is set in Vermont.
This is the connection between Super Troopers and Temple of Doom.
Yeah, it's a smooth connection there.
Right.
My real huh is, and I picked this up from the trivia. Why did the studio insist on cutting a scene that they did film that featured a fake $5,000 in production costs, a fake Ripper penis? Apparently, it was post-coital.
Well, who cares if it's fake?
And yeah, they commissioned a fake Ripper penis for $5,000, and they did not include it in the final cut.
Do you think when movie studios, like when school districts are going to do a project, they've got to send out for bids? Mm-hmm. Do you think movie studios do this kind of thing too? Like, how do they agree on, I'll do that for $5,000. Like that's the cheapest you could get one made.
It's going to take me at least $7,000 to build that fake kangaroo.
But you know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of, they'll talk about well, that Spider-Man costume was $10,000 or that, it's like, where did you decide on that? Is it like, you're just, because if it's your own production house, if you got your own props house within, then you're paying those people to be there anyway. Yeah. I'm curious how that side of prop design works. That was a $5,000 kangaroo penis. And,
you can't put a price on that, Oz.
I wonder what was it now.
That's right. Now, that's the bigger question. Where is the penis?
It's in someone's garage or something.
It's in Malcolm McDowell's garage.
Exactly.
He used it after his arm got trapped. He just used the fake penis from the elbow down.
he brings it on set of all of his films.
Yeah, it's the omnipresent. That's what he's known for.
Yeah. When he was Dr. Loomis in the Halloween reboot, he was using that to taunt Michael Myers.
Just whacking it at him.
Don't stab her with this. Stab her with this, Michael. But no, this post-coital kangaroo penis.
Post-coital kangaroo penis.
But no, I'm genuinely curious of, like, do you send out for bids on that? Like, how do you get that? Did Stan Winston's studio make that, or
maybe someone knit it?
There you go.
Just some
crochet
Joanne fabrics.
Yeah, right. They got it at Build-A-Bear.
That'd have been easy to stuff.
Yeah, put your heart in there, deep in there.
As a former Build-A-Bear employee,
I know.
yes.
What would you put on the birth certificate for that thing?
I know, Schlongy the kangaroo schlong.
Yeah, I guess. Oh my!
So that's 95's Tank Girl.
Yeah. We're off to a good start for the month. Mm-hmm. We will be back next week to cover the second week of non-MCU DC CBM. It's non-Marvel DC comic book movies for all of you. No, we'll be back next week to talk about another non-Marvel DC comic book movie as we go to, we're going to go cover Sin City.
Yeah.
Something with legitimately more star power than this one has. There's a lot of people in this movie. And it's a good one. I've always been the original Sin City I really enjoyed. I think I've seen the second one once, and it was just not memorable.
I think you watched, Melissa, you watched it recently.
I was bored. And it was right after Sin City ended, and I just didn't want to change the channel. So I got the second one.
I remember the second one. I agree. I remember it being just boring. But the first one, I really enjoy that. I thought when it came out, a very novel approach of let's make this movie look like the comic book.
Yeah.
And they succeeded in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So we will be back next week to talk about Sin City, Las Vegas, for those of you that don't speak English. That's what it's called, right? Las Vegas.
I think
City.
Tom Selleck is the star.
I think so.
Yeah, there's a lot of commercials in the movie for catheters.
Is there a Gershon involved somewhere?
Should be. Tom Selleck and Gina Gershon in Vegas.
I'd watch it.
You would, just because you like Gina Gershon.
I do.
I like Gina Gershon. Tom Selleck's hawking his avocados.
Nothing but urethra catheters and reverse mortgages.
There you go. That works.
Or a reverse mortgage for your urethra catheter.
Reverse avocados for your urethra. For your urethra mortgage.
It's okay, doctor. It's just avocado.
For your
It's
health.
just a reverse avocado. That's not a post-coital kangaroo penis. No, it's just a reverse avocado. So, social media-wise, you guys can find us Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. There is a link to Patreon as well if you'd like to join. We certainly
join the Patreon army. Our ranks are growing. Is what we'd like to say.
That's our slogan for when you join. Yep. But until then, we'll leave it on the shelf. Next week, Sin City. Curtis, Melissa, you got anything to add before we sign off?
Anything else about Tank Girl?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you momentarily remembered that this is also an audio podcast as you shake your head no. Any other thing?
No.
Nope.
Nope. So, all right. Well, for another episode of Let's Talk About Flicks, I'm Oz.
Curtis.
And I'm Melissa.
And we'll see you guys next week with Sin City.